breaking down this little mandolin lesson to work on some bluegrass style mandolin slides. So I'm going to kind of assume you know how to do a basic slide. A slide is just you play a note and then you slide your finger up or down, you know, to change the pitch. So you can slide up or you can slide down. You know, that's the basic technique. And so we're not going to get too much into the basics, but basically the general technique is just keep your finger down, get a solid first note, and then change the pitch. But for this lesson, I'm going to assume that you already know how to do a basic slide, and we're going to focus on some kind of popular bluegrass slides that I want you to practice. So I'm going to give you a couple slides you can do with each finger to just get some practice. So let's start in our C chord. Let's use our 3-finger C chord. So I've got my 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the lowest string, 1st finger 2nd fret D string, and 2nd finger 3rd fret A string. Because a lot of these slides for bluegrass are going to be working out of your chord shapes. So it's really good to connect these slides to your larger chord shapes, because then once you do them, you can move the chord shape around wherever you want, and the slide will still work. So let's start with our 1st finger, our index finger. And one very basic one you can do that works out of this shape is a 1 to 2 slide. And then you can go back to your 5th fret on your 3rd finger. So like that, you might have heard. And again, you can do the slide with picking or without picking, it doesn't matter. So that's a really good one. You can also go backwards, something like that. Again, all your slides work on any string with mandolin. So if you move this shape down, that'd be like a 3-finger G chord. You might have heard that. It's like a very fiddle way to play it. If you do it all the way up here, you don't have a higher string for your 2nd finger, but you can do it on a D. Or you can do back slides like that with your 1st finger. Once you get that down, again, you can move this whole shape up 2 frets. That'd be like a D chord. You can do that same 1st finger slide. So connect it to these positions, okay? So my 3rd finger is kind of my anchor there. I'm using that to hover over the fret and keep my position. So I can really do that slide wherever I get it down. I could do it up here on A. So that's a good one to practice with your 1st finger that works out of this chord shape. So you can do the 1 fret slide, or you can slide backwards. Okay, that's a good one. So one you can do with your 2nd finger is on the low string. You can do like a 2 to 4 slide, and then hit the open D string above it. Or you could do 3 to 4 if you wanted bluesier. Another way you might do that same idea is connecting it to this G chord shape, that 3-finger G chord we were just doing our 1st finger slide in. Now if you do that same 3 to 4 slide and then keep your 3rd finger down. So you might hear something like that in bluegrass. Do it up on the next string, that'd be like a D. So you could like do the open D string and then that 2 to 3, or 3 to 4 slide, excuse me. Up on the high string would be A. So that's very kind of old-time mandolin. You might have heard like it kind of sounds like a Bill Monroe style lick. Or you could do it with all downstrokes as well. Kind of sounds like the beginning of The Entertainer too, but again, just use that connected to these positions. So if you're in this chop chord, maybe you're in your G chop, and now you have a little riff you can do. Or you can do your other slide. And then you're back to your chop. That one you can do backwards as well. I don't do that quite as often. I usually slide up on that one. But you could do something like that. So that'd be like a 4-2 backslide or 4-3. So just practice it with each finger. In bluegrass, you're definitely going to, since you need all 4 fingers to play out of these chop chords, you're going to need all 4 fingers to do your slides as well. So those are some basic slides you can do on your first and second finger. Again, you can move it up. If I'm up in my A chord, you know, that'd be incorporating those 2 slides we just worked on. You could do it even up here in B. Kind of working your chord shapes there. Let's move it back down to G. Let's look at our third finger, our ring finger. So there's some cool slides you can do with this finger. One, you could slide into your shape. Another one I'll do a lot is, there's another, if you go into your 3-finger G chord that we've been doing, you can move your third finger from the 5th fret of the D string to the 5th fret of the A string. That's another little move. It's like an arpeggio, so it's playing the notes of the chord. But you can do some really cool slides with that third finger. If you do like a backslide on that 5th fret, you get a really bluesy sound that can sound really cool. And then I'm incorporating a first finger slide as well. That's very Bill Monroe style. You could also slide up to that and go into this shape, which is really common. But that backslide is really cool. You really got to drag your hand. That's really good practice. That one's almost easier to do fast, like really fast, like something like... So you can hear how cool that... I think it sounds really cool anyway. So I'm working out of that shape there. It's very kind of Mike Compton-ish or Bill Monroe. Very common. Again, I'm using this shape, my 3-finger G chord. I'm moving my third finger up and then doing a backslide and then connecting that to my first finger slide. Let's move it up to A. I'm using my high note to start at my high A. And there's different timing and licks you can do with this idea. Just use the idea to get you started. You really got to keep the pressure down. And if it doesn't sound perfect at first, that's okay. Again, it's probably easier to do it faster. Okay, so that's our third finger. That's some slides you can do with your third finger. Lastly, let's use our pinky. This one's going to be tricky, but it's going to be good practice. Okay, if we go back to our G chord, there's one more move we can do. Is that we can, if we go up into this shape, so I move my third finger to the 5th fret of the A string. Another one we can do is our pinky way up to the 7th fret. That's a B note. So instead of doing the arpeggio that we were just doing this way, so G, B, D, G. Now we're getting the high B up here on the 7th fret. So you got octaves. But you can get some really cool pinky slides. You can either slide up into that note. That's basically like this. Or you can slide back down. That's tricky. It takes really... You have to work on your pinky strength. You can also work on keeping this finger down. Another one you can do is if you're in this chop chord with your pinky way down here on the 7th fret, is you slide from 7 down with your pinky, and then you can connect that to your second finger slide that I taught you earlier. That's very Bill Monroe-ish, so if I did something like, I'll do it faster so you can hear it. Again, a lot of these backslides, especially with the pinky, it's almost a little easier to do it faster. You could also do something like this that Bill Monroe would do. It sounds kind of goofy, but it's kind of a cool idea. You basically do a really fast tremolo and slide through all those notes. like that. See, I'm working all those slides. So pinky slide, third finger, first finger, pinky, second finger. So that's one thing you could do. Lastly, let's do one more idea and then we'll call it a day. So that gives you a couple ideas to do with all your fingers. Again, you could do those pinky slides all over. You can go up to B. That's a good one. Lastly, let's do one more kind of two-finger slide. So let's do 5 and 2. So this G chord shape. So 5th fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the A string. That's like a G double stop. And then let's slide up to 9 and 5. So my fingers are going to stretch out a little bit. And then I'm going to slide back down to 5 and 2. That's a good one to practice basically sliding 2 fingers at the same time. If you want one more position to connect them, you can do 9 and 5. Slide this shape down to 7 and 3, and then 5 and 2. So you can go. So I'd maybe use that middle position for like a tremolo. But Bill Monroe, kind of like in some of his early mandolin stuff, he would do things like this that would sound really cool, I thought. So I'm using some of those slides again. Or that you could do it like that too. Alright, hopefully that gives you some slides to practice with each finger. Again, take these slowly. It's going to take some time to build up your strength. You know, shake your hand out, get some blood reflowing to your fingers if you need to. But just practice connecting those ideas. And again, always connect it to the larger chord shape so you can move it around wherever you want. All right, hopefully that gives you some practice. All right, good luck.